Hello lovebirds, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as you guys can see, I'm trying really hard to create more content for you guys. So if you love what I'm doing, please let me know and subscribe to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing everything there is to know about brushes. So this has been a really requested video, and every time I post a video on my Instagram, it's like, what was that concealer brush? Well, today I'm going to give you all the answers. I'm just going to walk you through all of my favorites, and I've got a really good surprise at the end. So please keep on watching. Let's get started with my brush holder. This is my absolute favorites. It is the MYKITCO brush buddy, and it holds everything I would want. Now, keep in mind, this is size small, so there is even a bigger one. So let's open this baby up and let's get started on foundation brushes. One of those things that I absolutely love about this is there's an elastic at the end, so you can keep the lid nice and tidy while it's sitting on your desk. When it comes to foundation brushes, I prefer a buffing brush. So I do have some flat foundation brushes in my kit, and I never use them. So I usually keep it to buffing brushes. Now, these are all for different goals. So let's get started with this baby. This is the Morphe, no idea which number, but it is a very large buffing brush. This brush I usually use to apply a very covering concealer because the density is so nice. It just blends everything together perfectly. Now, if you have a model that has a few spots on her legs, for example, a bruise, then this is one of those perfect brushes. So it is always in my kit. Now, the next brush is one that I've probably had the longest and I have used the most. So this is the 102 Silk Finish by Zoeva Cosmetics, and I've been using this forever. I think this is probably one of the first brushes that I've bought. It's probably one of the cheapest in my kit, and I absolutely love it to apply foundation. Now, I've also got a kind of a blend between a buffing brush and a stippling brush. So this is the Clinique foundation brush. No clue if it has a number or not. If it does, I'll put it down below. But it is a little bit less in density, and I usually go for this one if I'm using a less covering foundation. Now, the upcoming two brushes are by Smith Cosmetics, and I usually go for these if I want to blend out any cream product except for foundation. So, for example, a cream contour would be blended out with this baby. This is the 157 by Smith Cosmetics, and it is beautifully angled, so it fits into the hollow of your cheekbone absolutely perfectly. Now, if I'm going for a blown out blush, for example, I usually go for this little round baby, and it is the 130 by Smith Cosmetics, and it just blends out everything perfectly. So for example, if I want to have a blown out blush here, I just stipple everything on in circular motions, and that just applies a cream product like a dream. Last but not least in the buffing category is this cute little baby by Refer. Now, it's been in my kit for a while, so it got dented while I was traveling. But this is one of those that fits in every little nook and cranny perfectly. So this is also a favorite. Let's get on to face powder. So this category has 5 brushes that I absolutely love to apply face powder. Now, if you've seen my content for a little bit, you know that I usually just apply face powder in the T-zone, especially if I'm on set. It's just the areas that contain a little bit of shine. So all of my face brushes, face powder brushes, are quite teeny tiny. Look at these. Alright, so let's get started with the first one. The first one is the P08. Now, I've still got the prototype number. I'll put the right number down below. But this is also by Refer, and it is a beautiful brush that just fits in every nook and cranny. Now, this one also has a baby sister, and I'll put the name down below. But this one is even smaller and a little bit rounder. So if you really want to be detailed about it, this is one of those must-have beauties. Then onto flat powder brushes. So this one is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It is the A22, and it is also one of those brushes that picks up product like a dream and applies really beautifully. Now I've got two real hair brushes by Tush brushes. Now these are also one of those investment brushes that I've bought when I went to makeup school. So I've had these for probably 5 years, 6 years, almost 6 years. So these have been in my kit ever since, and look at how they look now. It is absolutely still beautiful. They keep their shape really, really well. And I've got two shapes of these. So the first one is a really large blender. Now, it's worn off the number. Again, I'll put the numbers down below for every other brush that comes along from now on. This one is just beautiful if you want to grab onto those shiny places. It is very, very dense. It is very packed with bristles, and it is beautiful to use. Then a flat powder brush. Now this one I usually go in if I just want to give it a flick of powder. And done. Now there's one brush that I absolutely cannot miss in my kit, and it is the Refer number 4. Now this is one of those smaller cheek brushes that are absolutely perfect for contour. Now this fits into the hollow of your cheekbone so perfectly that I can't do it with any other brush anymore. This is my go-to brush for everything face related, especially this one, contour perfectly. You could also use it for blush, but I've got a few other favorites for it. On to a brush that is for me an essential when it comes to bronzer application or larger areas or blending out product. It is the number 3, I think. Could have also been an 8. This one is by Tush Cosmetics, and it is also a real hair brush. It is beautiful, one of those investment pieces, but if you want to blend something out, this is just the absolute perfect brush. Then on to blush brushes. Now I've got a larger one. This is the A20 by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it is beautiful just to pack color precisely on that cheek so you get a really beautiful application. I love the shape and I love the way it holds in my kit because I am not a very sensitive person when it comes to traveling, so I throw my suitcase everywhere and this just holds like a dream. Then onto a little bit more of a precise blush brush. This is the number 5 by Refer Cosmetics, and it is just perfect if you want to dab on a few colors. Now, I also use this for cream application, and it blends out like a dream. Now, when it comes to highlight, I like to be precise. You'll never find me applying highlight with a large brush because I want to be very precise in my application. If I drag the application a little too far down, it just accentuates the hollows underneath my eyes because they run down quite far. So if I apply a little bit of highlight here, it'll accentuate that line just a tad too much. So I go in with very precise highlighter brushes. Now this one is the A23 by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it picks up product like no other. If you like a gleaming, packed on highlighter, this is your buddy. This is absolutely perfect. The next brush would be the number 103 by Smith Cosmetics, and it is quite similar to the Anastasia one. It's just a little thinner. Again, this is perfect if you just want to have that precise application. And also this one will pack it on like no other. Now, if you want to go for a softer diffuse effect, this is my go-to. It is by Refer, and it is just a little fluffier. So it's not as dense as the other two, but it will beautifully blend in any highlighter. And I use this with powder and with liquid highlighters. On to the large blenders. So I've got large blenders in my kit because sometimes my application isn't just on point and I need to blend it out with something big so it becomes a beautiful transition. So I've got 4 brushes for that. First up is the number 1 by Tush Cosmetics. Now again, investment piece, but beautiful. So even if I pack my blush on really, really thickly and it leaves a patch on my cheek, this is that brush that just blends out everything beautifully. The second one I've got for that, and this is a new one, which is a little less dense, so it's a little fluffier, is the number 2 by Tush Cosmetics, and it is just stunning. The next one is a brush that I got in a Christmas package from NARS Cosmetics, and I've been using it ever since. So it's a little smaller, wider, and it is beautifully dense. I've used this one, I didn't clean it, sorry about that. But it is a beautiful blush. I also use it to pack on powder if I want to, but it is beautiful to just blend out everything that's on the face at that moment. The last one in the category chubby blenders, large blenders, is this Chubby Buddy by Refer Brushes. And the reason I love Refer Brushes also is because they deliver different handle lengths. Now you can also choose to have one with a silver part here, black here. You can have it longer, medium, whatever way, shape or form you prefer. You can customize it all to your liking. So this is also one of those brushes that I've used to blend out larger areas or to maybe apply a shimmer along the chest. It's beautiful. All right, let's get on to everything concerning the eyes, and it's quite a lot. I shared a story on my Instagram the other day, and it's quite a lot. But I'm also doing this to give you guys a few options. So let's get on to the category concealer. You know I love to apply my concealer with a brush because it gives me a little bit more control over where the product is going, how much product is in a specific spot, and how I can sheer it out in other places. So first up is one that you guys have been asking for the past 6 years probably. This is the S165 by Cosette, my all-time favorite concealer brush. Now I love this so much because it is tapered and you can really pack on the product in specific areas while it is fluffy enough to sheer things out in other spaces. I've always got 2 of these in my kit and in my personal kit, but I could have 10 and not still have enough. Next one is the 33S by Tush. Now this is also a new acquisition and it is a little bit more chubby, but I absolutely love it to apply concealer in somewhat larger areas. So if I have a little bit of redness around the jawline, this is just perfect to sheer a little bit of concealer over that area. This is one of my go-tos as well. Then I've got this little chunky baby, the A16 by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this actually works really, really well as concealer. Now, I especially use this on darker skin types because there is some discoloration in specific areas, and it is dense enough to pack the color on. So I can get rid of any of the discoloration beautifully. Next up is this baby. It doesn't have a number, but it was also put into the gift wrapping set that NARS sent me. So this is a smaller one, and it is perfect for these areas around the nose because it is slightly tapered. You can also use it as a flat eyeshadow brush, but this is in my category concealer. Then, if you've got an eye look going on and you just want to sharpen everything up, this is my go-to baby. This is the number 9 by Tush. Now, if you've got a little bit of fallout or you haven't perfected your shape yet and you want to perfect your shape, also for the lip area, I use this one just with a bit of concealer to straighten everything out. Especially for the lip area as well, because it is so flat on the top and it is so flat as a brush. You can just perfect your shape beautifully with a little bit of concealer. On to eyeliner brushes. Now, for eyeliner, I've got two categories. First one is how to do a soft liner, and I've got two of my favorites for that. They are very, very similar in shape, but also very, very different. So if I want to keep the soft liner very packed and very concentrated in a specific area, I use the D250 by Cosette. Now this is a little bit shorter than the next one I'm going to show you, which is the number 9, also by Cosette, but with the black handles. There is a difference between the two. So this one is a little bit more fluffy, which creates a fluffier effect if you're doing soft liner. So for example, if you have a really beautifully winged out smoky eye, this is your best friend. Now on to detailer, liquid eyeliner or gel liner brushes. I've got a new favorite, and this is going to be my all-time favorite forever because I've never had any other brush apply my liquid eyeliner the way this one does. This is the number 27 by Tush, and it is a little bit more chubby, but you'll be surprised at how detailed it is able to work. This is my go-to from now on. Everything eyeliner concerns this baby. Now, also a very good place to search for eyeliner brushes is a craft store or a art supply store, and I got this little baby, this tiny, teeny, tiny thingy at a art supply store, and this is when I go in deep and I want to do it so precise. You'll need a looking glass to be able to do it. So this is the one that I use with a magnifying mirror, so I can get every little bit of wonkiness out of the way. Then we've got this little angled baby by Cosette. It is the number 11, and this is also one that I've been using a lot. It is very similar to the Tush, and Tush does use real hair. So if you're looking for a vegan option, then this will probably be it, the number 11 by Cosette. Then last but not least, the most traditional eyeliner brush I could find is the Tush number 30. Now I keep a protective thingy on top of there to protect the bristles from ever going anywhere. Again, it is such a beautiful eyeliner brush, and this one is especially really nice if you're doing some graphic looks or if you're doing something that is outside of the eye spectrum. So if you're doing face paint, for example, this is it. On to detailer brushes, and I've got quite a few of these, so bear with me on this one. The first one is one that is actually an eyeliner brush, but that I really love to use to create any detail, or maybe even a 60s eye look, for example. It is a chubby little baby by Charlotte Tilbury, and let me see, it just says eyeliner, no number. This is the Charlotte Tilbury eyeliner brush, and it is perfect to create that cut crease right here in a 60s style. Beauty. Then one of my most used brushes to do anything detailed, which is the number 3 by Refer, and this is one of those brushes that fits your under eye so perfectly that it is just too easy to blend anything out. And I mean, tools are half of your skill, so this goes everywhere with me. I've got a double, so I've also always got a clean one in my kit. Then onto a more affordable version of that is the number 240 or 243. This is by Zoeva Cosmetics, so it means that it is vegan, and this is one of those beautiful, I mean, you can compare the two. Refer is just a little bigger, but Zoeva also has one that is very similar to the Refer one, which is the 230, which is also in my detailer category. If you're looking at something on the American side of the ocean, then you might want to go for the A14 by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this one is quite similar. The only difference I could really find is that it is a little less tapered. So this one is a little chunkier, a little bit chubbier, and you won't be able to do a very, very precise application. But if you are going for something for the inner eye corner, for example, then this is a beauty to get. Now we're going to make a transition into the blender brushes, but first up, a very detailed blender brush. You've seen this on my page quite a lot. It is the S185 by Cosette, and it is just beautiful to get into those little parts that haven't been blended beautifully yet. So if you're making a transition from your crease onto your brow bone, this is just beautiful to work with, and you can shear everything out because it is so fluffy and it is not so dense. Then if you're looking at smaller eye blending brushes, this is the one to go for. This is one of those beautiful detailer blending brushes that just fits in every nook and cranny. So if you're applying a crease and you just want to deepen everything, this is just one of those beauties where you can pack everything on beautifully. Now we're going to increase size from here. So let's get on to the D220 by Cosette. Cosette is a beauty. If you're looking for vegan brushes, this is one of those brands that will last you a lifetime, and they're so good. They keep their shape beautifully. I've had these in my kit for the past 3 years at least, and also this is one of those really beautiful detailed eye blender brushes that just fit in the crease, or if you have a little bit of a smaller eye, this is a beauty to get. Then on to Smith Cosmetics, because they make beautiful brushes and I love them. So this is a 230 by Smith Cosmetics, also a tinier blending brush, but it packs on product like no other and it blends beautifully. So it does fan out a tiny bit after first purchase, but then they keep their shape the way it looks right now. Similar to that one, but a little bit less round, but a little bit more tapered, is the 247, and this is, especially if you press it down, you can see it is a little bit more flat going all the way up. So this is beautiful if you want to blend out the smaller portions of your eye. Onto larger eyeshadow blenders. So this is one of my favorites. I have a thing for tapered eyeshadow brushes because it gives me the ability to work a little bit more detailed in specific areas or blend out a larger area. So I love a multi-purpose blending brush. This is the number 4 by Cosette with the black handle, and it is again a little bit more tapered. So this is beautiful if you want to work larger areas. Last one in the tapered category is the P09 or P07 by Refer. Now this is one of those prototypes that they've sent me. I'll make sure to put the right name down below, but it is beautiful. The funny thing is about this brush is that I've used it on neon pigments and that everything comes out of the brush each and every time. So this is one of those brushes that just look beautiful in your kit and look beautiful when you're doing videos or anything, and it is a must-have in my kit. Then a cheaper option for a good blending brush is one by Zoeva Cosmetics. It's the 223 Crease. Now also a vegan brush. This is one that is a little bit more on the budget side. So if you're looking for a really nice blending brush, a universal blending brush, this is it. Now, I've had this for at least 6 years and it's still beautiful. It's lost some of the color in the tips, but that's it. Last one is a rounder eye blending brush, which is the P09 by Refer again. Again, I can't stress this enough. They keep their shape, they clean thoroughly, and they are just beautiful to work with. They blend perfect. Onto flat shader brushes. So, for example, if you're doing a cut crease, I know it's a favorite online, you want a flat eyeshadow brush to just pack on color. Sometimes you just need to pack on color. So let's get on with the first one. This one is by Smashbox and it is a full coverage shadow. Now, this is very dense, very thick on the top. So this is perfect if you want to pack on color. Next one is the number 2 by Refer, and this is also one of those brushes that is a little bit more dense and it packs on shadow like no other. I have noticed that these work really beautifully with cream pigments and cream eyeshadows, so if you're looking for something like that, this is your baby. Then onto the D40 by Cosette. Cosette is just a favorite of mine, and this one is a little bit more tapered and a little bit more slim on top. So it's not as dense as the other ones, but it is beautiful if you want to work a shadow without making it a crease, or work a shadow on top of the lid. Then if you want to pack on a cream pigment or a cream eyeshadow onto the lid, I usually go for the number 5 by Cosette, and this is an absolute favorite. It's a little larger than, for example, the Smashbox one, which is a little tinier, but it is the same concept. It just packs on shadow really beautifully. Then to clean up, I usually go for Tush. Now this is a smaller version from the one I use for my concealer, so it is just a baby version of it, but especially if you want to detail something onto the lid, this is a beauty to work with. Last category I'm going to be discussing is lips. Now lips to me is a thing. I need to be able to do it like razor sharp or not at all, or it should be, you know, like a blown out color on the lip, but I use a flat shader for that. So if you want to go for a really nice neat lipstick, I have two favorites. One is an older version of a newer one. So these are by Tush. I bought this one around 6 years ago. Now, this is the newer version of it. This is the Tush number 19. I never thought I would say that this could be improved, but it did. And this is just a little bit fuller, it's a little bit wider, and it just applies like a dream. The other lip pencil that I've always got in my kit is this one by Cosette. It is the 370, and it is just beautiful if you want to pack on color really quickly, really beautifully, and this is just perfect. Alright loves, this was it. I know it's been quite a journey to get through it, but I've got some really, really lovely news. I've spoken to the people of Refer, and they founded their company, I think, a little over a year ago, and I've been such a fan of their products. They let me try out all of their prototypes before they even come out, and it's just really lovely that they take all the reviews of the community into account when creating new brushes. So I've got really fun news. I get to give away 3 essential brush sets. So if you wanna participate in this giveaway, and I don't do giveaways a lot, but this is one that I was really, really very excited about. If you want to participate, please make sure that you're subscribed to my channel, you leave a comment below this video, and make sure you follow Refer on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please pop them down below, and I'll make sure to answer them as quickly as I can. See you next time. Bye.